What's up, world? Zekful here, and I'm gonna be telling a story. Well, before the video starts, I might not do whatever happened videos about YouTubers because I don't want to make it become so repetitive where I just get bored of it. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna change my description and stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, this story takes place in fifth grade. Because if y'all don't know, I just turned 13. I am in 7th grade. So, yeah. Anyways, so I was out at recess, I was hanging with my friends. And then there's a kid, I'm gonna give this kid a name, Philip. So Philip, he's like a crybaby. I don't mean that as a bad thing. If you slightly tapped him on the arm, he'd be like, ow, and that whiny voice. Oh my god, that wants to oh my god, I hate that. Anyways, so I was climbing up the slide, alright, because who doesn't do that? I mean, if you don't do that, you were lame as a kid, bro. Nah, I'm kidding. But seriously, so I guess Philip sees this and he's like, I shall. And this kid did not like no one breaking the rules. But the kid thinks he could fight. Well, knowing me and my short temper, well, I was climbing up the slide and he grabs onto my leg. Alright? And I tell him, bro, get off. And I kick his arm. And he's like, he starts crying. I just gotta tell the kid, you cannot be a crybaby and think you're tough. That's not gonna work. And if you think that's gonna work, you're smoking high amounts of crack. You can't be a crybaby and acting all tough. That doesn't work. You can't, because if you're gonna always try to get into fights, you gotta keep your guard up. You gotta be tough. You can't just be like crying every time. But anyways, so he goes to a teacher, alright, and what he does is, he goes to her, and I follow him, alright, because I wanted to see what he says. He's like, he was, and all that, stuttering thing. I think every kid does that when they're, all sad and when they're about to cry. But he's like, he was climbing up the slide, and I grabbed his leg, and he kicked me in the arm. Doing all that, and I was like, oh, dude. It's ugh. Ooh, I hate that. Anyways. And also, just to be clear, I was not talking about, I'm not talking about, those kids who are soft, who are nice people. I'm talking about the kids that try to act tough, but they cry about everything. If you hit them once, they start crying. I'm not talking about the soft people who are very nice and are very chill. No, I'm not talking about them. Anyways, I just had to make that clear. I was not talking about, if you're a soft guy and you're pretty chill, you don't get into fights, that's fine. I mean, stay out of trouble, that's fine. That's alright, I don't really care. That's fine with me. If you're like that, you're a homie. But if you're a crybaby bitch, and you cry about everything and you try to be tough, you a bitch. Just telling. Seriously, you can't act like that if you're gonna cry about everything. Anyways, so, I'm kinda going off the tangents, back to the story. Anyways, so, the teacher that was outside tells me to go stand over by the wall because they don't tell us to go inside for some reason. Tell us to go stand by the wall. Alright, I was like, man, fuck this. And so once I go over there, I run around the playground, just one lap. And she snitches on me to the principal. And I'm like, yo, come on. I may not be listening, but you gotta snitch. But he tells me, alright, Clayton, since you're not listening to teachers, you might as well listen to me. Stand here for the rest of recess. I'm like, fuck, broski. So after he turns his back, what I do is I go inside and I go into the restroom, the boys' restroom, and like you could hide in here pretty well because you know there was like a wall, all right, blocking off like the urinals and all that stuff, and you could hide behind the wall. Well, it wasn't blocking the urinals. You could like go around it. You know, if you walk in, you know, you could walk and you'd see the sinks and you see a window. Then to your left, you would see the toilets and the urinals. That was kind of blocking it off, you know. But anyways, I guess he saw that I was gone because he comes in there. And he's like, Clayton, Clayton. He's like yelling my name, and I'm like trying to be quiet. I'm like, yo. Hopefully he doesn't come over here. But anyways, he didn't. And he walks out and he tells the secretary, and I guess she goes and tries to find me. And what happens next is that I come out because I think he's gone. I didn't know that he told the secretary. And she sees me, she sees me. And she's like, come on, you gotta go back. I'm like, yo. Come on, man. Can I stay here? And she's like, no, why would I let you stay here? I'm like, fuck. You know, said that quietly because I don't want to, like, cuss at a teacher. And this secretary, I'm going to just come out and say it. She's a bitch. Alright, I'm done cussing for the rest of the video. Anyways. So, I stand by the wall and the principal comes back to talk to me. And he's like, Clayton, where were you? I was like, I was in the bathroom. He's like, I did not hear you. I was like, man, I was taking a poop. He's like, well, you didn't say anything. I say, yeah, I didn't hear you. He's like, alright, don't do it again. And I'm like, okay. Like, okay. And so, that pretty much, I had to sit there for the rest of recess, which kind of sucked because, you know, I had nothing to do. And so, yeah. So, that's pretty much the end of the story. And Zekbo out. Peace. Oh, like and subscribe. Now, peace.